Well, the market was not on vacation.
It never is. It never is.
So we're going to jump right into today's articles. The first thing right out the top memo is home listings up more than 60% in some cities across the country. Nationwide active listings in August were up 36% compared with the same month last year. This is from Realtor.com, coming kind of via CNBC, but a new Realtor.com article. And the claim is the growth of supply is due to the fact that homes are sitting on the market longer, which kind of sounds a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Like there's more inventory because the houses are on the market longer.
That's right.
Well, so what do you make of this? First of all, so I understand. Okay, there's more homes on the market, but there's more homes on the market because they're just taking a longer time to sell. Well, duh. Naturally, they're going to have higher volume. But like, what's really going on here? What do you think?
But again, it has to do with the affordability, right? We're the worst affordability that there is or has been. And so we are seeing an uptick in these homes, and we're starting to see a lot more homes being withdrawn. We're seeing homes staying in the market a lot longer. I actually have it here, and I got this information for Alto's research, and you already know, I mean, they're really very, very good. But we noticed that Florida, it's actually 64% more homes available at this very moment than last year.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That's
a lot. Exactly.
And we're starting to hear like some areas like Tampa and stuff like that, the prices are coming down, Arizona, 72%, Andy.
So yeah, no, that's a lot. I mean, San Diego even made the list, 80%.
You know what?
Up from last year. That's crazy.
I would say that's inaccurate. Okay, I mean,
I wanted to talk about it.
I didn't see San Diego. Okay, so I don't know. So I'm not obviously it might be, but I don't think that.
But remember the context. The window we're talking about is from this time last year.
Correct.
So in the summer of 23, we had the peak of mortgage rates. In the fall of 23, like inventory was paltry at best. So it sounds like a really big number, but comparatively it's not. And here's why. When you step back even further, this is still a lower amount of homes or a smaller amount of homes on the market than 2019, like pre-COVID shutdown stuff.
Correct.
So you have to take a honest step back and go, okay, this might look like crazy numbers, but they're kind of not, because compared to just 5 years ago, they're actually still really low.
Correct. Well, all California that I saw, according to Altos, and they're very good at what they do, they have 36%. I don't think we would hold 80% in just the San Diego, especially seeing, how much supply we have.
From the city perspective, the San Diego is being reported as 80% up.
Correct.
But again, that the number of that 36% average is kind of right on target. There's going to be some that are way below that and some are really high above it. And I don't think the ones that are above it are like drawing that number like super strong up to 36. There's a lot that are less than 36. So I have
Hawaii was like 20%.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of them that are a lot, and there's some places that are going to be like the same as they were. I think the argument there is that there's some places where the people who are going to move there have done that, they've done so.
Yeah,
and there may not be even any inventory in those places to just show up. Like a lot of new builds. Like let's just pick a random. I'm going to say Tallahassee because I don't know why.
Tallahassee.
But think about it. Like unless they're building a lot of new places there. Then you're just turning over the inventory that already pre-exists. And so there's not a lot of chance for that inventory to turn over unless people there are just getting rid of their houses and going somewhere else. So
and according to this, why they've drummed up so many homes is like Arizona, a lot of the investors were seeing like, hey, this is a really hot market. Literally, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of developers were actually going out there buying these big plots of land and then new construction. And so new construction is going out. Hey, that investor's doing it. Another one's going to do it. And I think that's why they have such a high supply of homes right now. 72%. That's quite a bit.
That's a lot. And
that's for the whole state.
Here's the thing, though, and this is what's interesting to me. And I know they didn't go into this here because it's kind of like a later thing that's going to happen in the timeline of life. Is that what's going to happen with prices? Like this looks like a really steep incline in a lot of these places, but we're not seeing I'll say commensurate amount of price reductions either. Yeah. You're not seeing 80% increase year over year and then also a 30% price decline. Like that's not happening.
No.
So it's certainly not an indication that there's like a cliff ahead. I think some of this has to do with Brian and I talked about this last week when you were on vacation. We were talking about how I think that like our seasons have shifted. Like the spring and summer, like peak buying season, I feel like that's shifted to the right an entire quarter. Where
You're absolutely right.
Summer people started thawing out, and then now the fall, I think the fall is going to be bonkers.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, you're right. In past history, the fall's been like pretty slow. Like okay.
Right.
And
on
so,
average, it's kind of like once people have like started school again, it's like things start like creeping. It gets slow, and then all of a sudden Costco's got Halloween stuff out in August, and then like September they got like the Christmas stuff out, and everyone's like looking like miles down the road. But jokes aside, people treat real estate that way.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't move by September, well, I'm just not going to move really.
Yeah.
And then there's seasonal problems with other places where it starts to rain a lot more. It gets cold. You're going to start seeing snowfall and all that kind of thing. So we don't have that stuff going on here.
Yeah.
But I've said this before. Our Decembers are traditionally crazy.
Yeah.
Like I can't look at this coming December and say, oh, it's going to be like even Steven.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really busy.
Yeah, it'll get very busy in comparison to last year, right? I mean, we're going to be honest. Last year, December was not that busy. It's, the past several years, we've been bonkers. But it's what it is. With everything, with the market climate, everything changing, it's going to change where people's appetites are going to be, if they want to buy now or later.
So do you agree or disagree with the sentiment that if inventory is increasing, but prices are staying the same, with mortgage rates like estimated to go, they've been going down a little bit, but they're estimated to go down a little bit more. Do you think that that's going to draw more buyers off the sidelines?
Yeah, I think, it's not going to draw them off, but it's going to encourage them.
Okay. Because, if you have more like selection.
Yeah, correct. Like, I'm going to just use an example. We had a client where we actually had him qualified at 6.75. Mm-hmm. I just gave him a call, and we're at 5.6 to 5 EA, right?
Wait, hold on. Wait, sorry. He was already approved at 6.75?
Correct. We had approved him at 6.75.
How long ago was that?
It was like 2.5 months ago.
And now it's
5.6 to 5.
5 and 5
Yeah, correct.
Dude, that's
a little
crazy.
over 1% below. That makes a big difference. That's like a $500,000-$600,000 monthly payment.
Sorry for my interruption or my interruption/reaction. That's a
no,
lot.
Definitely. People have to, if they were on the fence before and thought that their payment's higher, now is the time to revisit that.
Dang.
And just see where they're at.
Well, that's a substantial difference, first of all, on the price, on the interest rate, which then translates into the monthly payment.
Yeah.
And then maybe, or even increase the affordability so we can go buy at the market price.
You know what's so funny, Andy, is the Fed still hasn't cut the rates, right?
Well, no, but I think part of that is because everyone's projecting that that's what they're going to do because they've been so data dependent. Yeah. Now that they have the data, they're kind of projecting that's what they're going to do. So,
but again, the reason why I'm saying that is because everybody thinks interest rates go lower when the Fed cuts the rates.
Right. Well,
but as you can see, the Fed,
great point.
The Fed hasn't cut the rates, and the rates have already gone down like 1 full %.
Right. Yeah. The market reaction in August was really steep.
Yeah. And again, it's all about the jobs. Like the most important thing to the Fed, it's jobs, the job market.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people, if they see their interest rates, going somewhat lower, I think that inspires them like, okay, maybe it's, more achievable that I can make those payments.
I agree with you. I think that the market is front running the Fed's choice, which is they're going to reduce their rate at their next meeting. They're going to announce some sort of rate reduction.
Wednesday.
I know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think the market is front running that. I know there's the whole Japanese market and overnight bond thing. I don't want to get in the weeds of that because I don't understand it to the technical degree I can explain it. But I know that helped at the beginning of August us push rates down a little bit, like literally in 2 days. It went like almost an entire % lower on our side because the bond side did what it was doing and then it translated over there in the mortgage space.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, and the reason I asked you the question is like yes or no. I think that when people have the incentive financially to get back on the field, but they also have more choices, I think they're going to go, oh, those are two really big things for me. I'm back in. I don't know what the third competitor would be. Like, what's the third variable they would go that they'd be waiting for still, even if those other two are good?
Yeah, elections.
Well, okay, that's okay. That's
elections.
Good. We talked about that too. I guess I didn't think about that right now. But yeah, if the price is there. Like if the price via the rate is there and then you have more selection because inventory is back, I think that's going to draw a lot of people. But maybe there's still some hesitation because of the election cycle.
But there is, Andy. A lot of people are actually, they think there's an instability right now. Well, who's going to come into office? How that's going to affect the way they're doing that. So they're kind of like, this is kind of unstable right now. So not until I know who it is, I think they'll show a little more stability on the choices they're going to make, etc.
You know what's interesting to me? One of the topics we covered last week was just Gen Zs. Gen Zs like hunger and appetite for like chasing down home ownership, and that they're currently at a greater percentage of ownership than Gen X and millennials.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're not messing around. Wow. And one of the examples that was used in the article was this like young man who bought a house in 2020.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, in the last 5 years, when has there been greater uncertainty than 2020, right? The way that all started. And like, so this cat's looking back in the rearview mirror 4 years down the road, like bought a house in 2020. And I was like, when we're doing this, I'm talking to Brian, and I'm like, dude, this kid was like, no, I'm buying a house no matter what. Like, there was no clear vision of what was supposed to happen at specific times in that year. And here's this kid cited in this article, like, I'm just doing it. So
why not?
That
right?
Go after it is also what kind of confounds me a little bit. Like, I know some people are waiting for an election. Yeah. Some people are like, I ain't waiting for nothing.
No, totally. So I'm glad with all of this. I did see here also that the while supply is increasing in most cities, some are seeing huge gains. Like Tampa Bay, Florida, inventory is up. Like that's where you use the 90. This is just crazy, right? But at the same time, it's not crazy. We're kind of starting to see a little more normalcy because in 2021, 22, when we only had 250,000 homes available nationwide, that was the lowest we've ever seen.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, I got these notes. 2010, there was 3.6 million homes available.
Yeah.
And that was when, after the 2008, a lot of people going through the foreclosure. It takes time. Remember, everything's a ripple effect. It doesn't happen immediately. It takes a little bit of time for it to all roll out. Then in 2011, there was 3.5 million, according to NAR, the National Association of Realtors. So when you're looking at this data, and currently we have a little over 704,000.
Yeah.
The norm is 1 million to 1,100,000 homes available. And we're talking about nationwide.
Yeah.
Right?
So there's sorry, go ahead.
We're still not at the normal. This is kind of getting normal, where it starts becoming more of a buyer's market versus a seller's market.
Yeah, I think there's still some more ways to go in that too, because based on pure volume, like you're commenting, but also just the simple fact that people are going to have to take. They're going to have to take whatever their variables of priority are and really just confront them face to face and go, I'm either going to do this or not do this. Yeah. On the seller side and the buyer side, not just saying that for buyers. It's gonna be
so this is actually good information. 60%. What we're talking about here, if you're on the fence, this is the good time to start looking.
Yeah.
When there's more homes available, this is the time where now the seller's going to come forward more to the buyer's needs.
Yeah. I think some of that's going to have to happen, especially because competition is going to happen too. It's not like you're just going to put a sign in the yard and 100 people are going to come anymore. Like that's not the way.
Those aren't the days right now. It's funny how things just change, right? We go through these seasons, things just change.
Yeah, they ebb and they flow. They move. So